February February 22nd, 2012. Well, I woke up this morning and I had this realization, and it goes to a couple of different authors, Jeffrey Wolf Green and Joseph Campbell. Now, in order to back up some of the thoughts I was thinking, I went and tried to find the place where I based this main idea, this main concept that I attributed to Jeffrey Wolf Green, that I was working off of. Now, it came to me this morning that well, in the contemplation of my relatedness and my relationship with my children and my family and my society and the role I play in their lives, I started thinking about what I had talked about the other day about society and culture and socialization. And trying to wrap my head around all this, but it was a big deal. Because it basically came down to the fact that what we are able to see, Campbell said that the myths he felt could stem from the organ systems in the body. So the conflicts and what's going on within the organ systems of the body, since the organ systems are pre-conscious, they existed in the body before consciousness did, before the brain that we've got now. They send messages up, and the messages are interpreted by the brain. Now, this is not quoting Campbell exactly. This is what I'm interpreting of him, his ideas. The brain puts an image to it. So, anyway, what I came to see was that he also mentions the eye, the importance of the eye. Especially, I think, in the fourth installment of the Masks of God creative myth, where the eye, we catch a glimpse of our lover, which is a form of destiny. But what I realized was that what if the eye could see in society things that, and recognize and integrate how things are working, not only in society but within oneself? What if the eye can manage both of those things? Through the eye we see this world, and there are a lot of people. The main thing is that I realize that there are a lot of people that only want to see a partial picture, the partial picture that fits their rendition of the world, so that they can keep doing what they need to do. And this is a difficulty for me because I often see I've had experiences in life in which I cannot edit them out. They're there in my memory, and I have to come to terms with it. And yet, I also have to come to terms with the fact that there are plenty of people out there that have not come to terms with it, have never either experienced some of the things I've experienced, excuse me, and they they refuse to admit certain things are, and an argument can arise. And like I said yesterday, it's a carrot and stick situation. I don't need any more arguments with life, because I really feel we afford our opportunities to be in an argument. We afford our opportunities to be in a unity and at peace. But that doesn't mean that we have to invent a rendition that is false or a fantasy in order to do so. There have been plenty of situations in my life where I've had to compromise. And it's rather contrary to my nature to agree to disagree. That, for me, shows a limitation in the relatedness. And there needs to be some kind of common ground where things are understood. But also at the same time, I realize that we can't understand everything all the time, and there are necessities in life, and we've just got to keep going. But anyway, what I saw this morning, I put culture first and then society and then civilization. I was talking to a friend the other day, and that's the way I placed it. And I used a reference to Heidegger's idea and Spengler's idea of Dasein, which has to do with plant consciousness and animal consciousness. And I related it to a vigor and vitality that is thriving in life, that just is a pulse, a life pulse to live. I referred culture to that because society, to me, once a social structure emerges, that is secondary to the primal life pulse. The primal life pulse, which is the key to a culture, is primary, and the society is secondary. The life pulse informs the social structures. And this is just as I see it at this point. This is a working hypothesis. But there was an idea that I came across, and I committed it to memory. But I knew I had to change it into my own words, but I thought I was pretty much following Jeffrey Wolf Green. But then I go back and I read this, where I noted it in his book, Pluto, Volume 2, The Soul's Evolution Through Relationships. And it's very different from what I said, what I thought. What I committed to memory was the root of our being is an absolute mystery. And from the root of our being stems our feelings. From our feelings stem our values. From our values stem our behavior. And from our behavior, once our behavior becomes patterned, it becomes a role that we play in life. But that's very different from what I just read. To define a person's individual identity, this occurs as a person compares or evaluates him or herself through interrelating with other people. In essence, it is through social interaction that people become aware of who they are as individuals. Through comparison and evaluation, people become aware of that which is unique and individual about themselves. Now, I think right there, the evaluation, comparison evaluation, I think I related to the values. Through comparison and evaluation, people become aware of that which is unique and individual about themselves. In the same way, they also become aware of that which is unique and individual about other people. In this way, they become aware of their roles within the relationship that they form and the function of the relationship. The function of the relationship describes the reason for the relationship, the purpose of the relationship. The function, reason, and purpose of the relationship relates the expectations that we have for it, the roles that are created for those expectations to be met, and the relative dependence that is generated in order for the needs and expectations to be met. Okay. So as I read this, it becomes aware. I could see how I got this. I boiled it down to feelings, values, behavior, roles. The purpose of the relationship restates the expectations that we have for it. So the purpose that was on page 79. These expectations can cloud what really is. So we can have an expectation of what we want in the world, and then by expecting it, we will interpret the world as we see fit to conform to our expectations. And when our expectations are not met by the outside world and the roles that we see the world playing, being performed in front of us, we can want to get rid of those roles, just do away with them. So, in relationship to me as a father, my children as my daughters, I have decided long ago that one of the key important things I need to do, besides be a father, is understand that the roles that my daughters play, they have every right to develop on their own. But we live in a society with social structures that place expectations upon our perspectives. We perceive a father to behave this way, to do this, to do that. We're instilled by society to have a woman behave a certain way and act a certain way.